We've learned our drop 2 7 chords on 3 different sets of strings in 4 inversions, going up and down the neck in scale tone sevenths and also in voice leading. Now we're going to put them to use in a song. I want to show you a few ways that you could get through Blue Bossa using just the drop 2s that we have here. I'm not going to use drop 3s or shell voicings or anything else, just run you through a potential way or two to get through with your drop 2 chords. One of the things that makes guitar difficult is what I just told you. If I want to play a C minor 7, I've got 4 different inversions on 3 different sets of strings at the very least that I can do it at. That's not even counting different kinds of chords or different tensions. And a lot of times what really can paralyze us on guitar is not knowing which chord to do next or where to go to play the next one. Sometimes though, voice leading will put you in a groove and trap you a little bit and sort of dictate some of your choices for you. And I want to show you how that's going to work a bit. Blue Bossa is in C minor, my favorite C minor 7 chord you're very familiar with. It looks just like a B minor, but it's at the 3rd fret. That's C minor, and you pull your pinky out, so it's C minor 7. And I'm playing the middle set of strings, so just the middle 4 strings. In the song we go next to the 4 chord, the F minor 7. To voice lead from C minor, I would go from this 3 on top to a 7 on top. There's my F7. Minor 7 would have this A flat in it. I'm going to show you my favorite way to play through right now though. I'll leave that one for later. So what I would prefer to do is go not in pure voice leading from this C minor to the F root on top. So I've got the F on the 1st string, 6th fret, C on the 5th fret, and then the flat 3 and flat 7 on the bottom. In the song we now go to the 2 chord. In minor, the 2 chord is a minor 7 flat 5. So this is going to be a D minor 7 flat 5. Look at the nice voice leading from F. Fret-wise I have 6, 5, 6, 6. D minor 7 flat 5 is the same chord except this E flat goes to a D. So I have 6, 5, 6, 5. Then I go to the G with the 7 on top, so G dominant 7, still holding that F. It was in the F minor, the D minor 7 flat 5, and the G7. So I have F, B, G, and D, root and 5 on the bottom. That's the 5 chord, the dominant 7, leading me back to the C. C minor 7, F minor 7, D half diminished, G7, and C. Then we move up a minor 3rd and repeat the idea with the minor 7 chord up here, but it's on E flat now. So at the 6th fret, I'll play that 3 on top minor 7. It's a 2 to the A flat 7, the 5, 1 to D flat major 7. So this section has given us a 2, 5, 1 in D flat. D flat major 7 with the 3 on top, F, C, A flat, and D flat. So you see that's almost the chord we had earlier, and in fact we now move to a D half diminished by moving our root up to a D, to the G7, which we had before, 7 on top, to the C, and then we just do that turn around again, the half diminished to the G7 to the C. So here's that progression. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. F minor 7, D half diminished, G7, and C minor 7, E flat, to A flat, D flat major 7, half diminished, G7, C, turn around again. So that's probably my favorite way to play through it. Let's try another one that starts on that C minor 7. This will give us a C minor 7 again. But voice lead to that F we talked about before. I have a 4, a 1, a 3, and a 3. The F is here on the 4th string, and this flat 7 on top. Just as we saw in the last version, to get to D minor 7 flat 5, we can move the E flat to a D. And then we go to a G7. This is a 5 on top, The root is the open G string. This is why I don't actually do this version. I'm starting to run out of real estate here. But there's the G7, D, open G, the F, the flat 7, and the B, which is the 3. And that would take us back to C minor, which I would usually do here, but just to keep the voice leading going, I will go down to the C with the root on top. Not in love with this inversion, but I've got the C on top on the second string, open G, then the flat 3 and flat 7 on the next 2 strings. Just to escape here, I will go back to that one I like. So here again is my 1, 1, 2, F, D minor 7 flat 5, G7, and C, and again a C minor 7. Then I can go to an E flat. Instead of going up to the one with the 3 on top, how about an E flat minor 7 on this E flat, root on top? That's just like the D I just did, which was half diminished though with a flat 5. This one's just minor. To the same inversion, instead of a G7, I'll go to the A flat 7. To D flat major 7, based on that D flat, but we're going to raise the 9. Wind up on the D half diminished again anyway, the G7 and the C. So that one again we would start on, I'm going to start on the same C, F minor 7, D half diminished, G7, C, C again, E flat minor 7, A flat, D flat major with the 9, D half diminished, G7, and C. Then we could move on to these upper sets of strings. I could do C on the top set of strings with a 7 on top. So I got a B flat, the flat 7, E flat, the flat 3, G and C on the bottom. The nearest F to me now in voice leading, this is 7 on top, I go to 3 on top. The D half diminished is right there as well. I've got the A flat, the flat 5 of that chord, the D, the C, the flat 7, and the F, the flat 3. To G7, I could go back to this C minor, or from this G7 I can voice lead to this C minor. Again, 5 on top. G, C, B flat, E flat. In the example I've written for you, I'll also throw in the 9, the D note. I've said I'm going to do a whole bar of it. I might just alternate on those a bit. So here again we have the C minor 7 with the 7 on top. 1, 2, 3, F, D minor 7 flat 5, G, C, and then we have the E flat minor. Voice leading, I'm actually at 1 right now. I could do this one, 2, 2, 3, and 1. I'm going to choose to take this shape though and move it up the 3 frets again, like I did earlier when I had my 3s on top. Now I'm doing it from C minor to E flat minor. I could also throw in 9s on that if I want. I can do the A flat 7 now. This is the root on top. 4, 4, 5, and 4. Could 9 that as well if I want. D major, D flat major 7 is this chord. Got the power chord on top, D flat, A flat, and on the bottom, F, C. Just for fingering, I prefer the 9 on this, which you'll recognize is also, as we talked about before, the F minor 7 flat 5. So I might ignore my stretched out D flat major 7 totally in real life and go right to the F minor 7 flat 5 and call it the D flat major 7, but I'll probably try to get them both in right now. Then I get my half diminished again, G7 again, C minor again. So here's that one, C minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, F, D half diminished, G, C minor, with 9s, E flat, flat, D flat major, 9, half diminished, G7, C minor, D flat, G and C. One more on the top set of strings, we could go to C. This would give us C, G, E flat, and B flat. That's a root on top, which I could use 9s on. The F minor now looks like the other minor 7s we've done, with the 5 on top. The F's on the 6th fret of the 2nd string, C on top here. Then we have the D half diminished. E flat again in this chord goes to D, to G7. This is nice, we haven't seen this 3 on top yet. There's the G and the D, the power chord. The F, the flat 7 at the 6th fret, and the B is the 3rd at the 7th fret. C minor 7. In voice leading, we go to the 7 on top. Just to get back in position, on the next half, I'll fire back up to that 8th fret one. Once there, I can do my E flat minor 7 up here. This will be a 7 on top with the D flat on top of that. 8, 8, 7, 9. Again, we don't have a lot of choices. Once we've made certain decisions, the A flat 7 is like the G7 was, but it's at the 6th fret now. That will bring us to the D flat major 7, which is this 7 on top, major 7 on top, the C, and the F, D flat, and A flat here at the 6th fret. When I make it D half diminished, I just raise the D flat to D, same old G, and to C. When I do my turnaround, I might end on this C minor again. So in real life, you won't stick necessarily to exactly the ones I've drawn. I've given you 4 different ways to work through the progression, and I might just in fact mix and match from all 4. When you go through a standard, you're going to go over and over and over again, so I might use 4 times just exactly what I wrote, but more likely I'll be flipping from one set of strings to another at different times. I don't recommend that at first. Maybe pick one here and really learn it. Let's see now if I can play you through the whole thing with all 4 of these. I was going to play to a backing track or with a melody line, but let's just play the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4.